Hello, listeners, and this is Dr. Pam, and I thank you for tuning into another episode of Pass Your Exam with Dr. Pam. Dr. Pam believes in true transparency. I'm going to call myself out before anybody gets a chance to ever call me out. So we can pretend like this is the first interview with this amazing man, but I'm going to call it spade a spade. We had an amazing interview last week, and I forgot to record. I own it. I did it. I did it. I did it. Reality therapy, right? I can't be blaming nobody else. I just did it. So we're going to try this again. And this interview, which makes it very different, is I am not the host. This is somebody else's podcast channel. Maybe there's some Freudian stuff there that I forgot to record. Some unconscious. I don't know, but honestly, I am with Quincy. And this is his channel, and I am just being the host. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to turn it over to Quincy, and I am going to enjoy the process. Thank you guys for tuning into this channel today. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing today?
I am good. I am good. And I thank you for giving me a second chance. Because you didn't have to, and I know your time is valuable. So I really appreciate you giving me a second chance.
Well,
So
Dr. Pam, I thought about this interview a lot. I have. I thought about our conversation. It was so amazing, and I took it as it was for us. I think a bond was made. I think you remember me. I know who you are, but I think that conversation was a conversation that God has called us to have at that time, and it wasn't for nobody else. So I try to think about how can I redo that, and I can't. I'm gonna leave that where it is, and I'm gonna continue to push forward. So I want to
I,
start.
I'm I'm going to say that I truly believe in divine intervention.
Okay.
When people find me, and you and I have a bond. We can't pretend that we don't, and I don't know why or where that leads. I don't know, but I definitely trust my heavenly Father that our futures are intertwined.
Okay.
That I know for sure, and I'm smart enough to know. I may not need to know right now, but I need to trust the plan. So
Okay.
I would agree with that definitely. So I'm the interviewee, and I'm gonna keep my mouth shut
Yes.
until you tell me to speak. So go ahead.
No problem. Welcome to the process. I'm your host, Q, the interview. What is the process? A conversation with entrepreneurs, innovators, and game changers on how they got started in business, the challenges they faced, and the moment everything changed. The goal is to inspire, encourage, and motivate everyone with a dream, a vision, and a plan to make the first move. And today I am here with a wonderful young lady, an entrepreneur, a motivator, an encourager, a God fearing woman, Dr. Pam Turner, the CEO of Academic Coaching for World Changers. And it's a pleasure to be on here interviewing this beautiful young lady.
I'm gonna say that we might need to do like a MSc on you because I'm not young, but if that's what you see, we might need to go back and check your mental status. But I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that. Okay.
Okay.
So thank you for allowing me to be in your space.
Yes. So, Dr. Pam, again, what is it that you do at Academic Coach for World Changers?
We changed the world.
Change the
And,
world.
and literally when coming up with the name for the business, I've owned a couple of businesses and my name was in the business. There's a couple of things.
Hmm.
um Back in the day there were the yellow pages, right? And you
Yes.
wanted to be first, so A would be first in the yellow pages.
Hmm.
So academic coaching comes first.
Okay.
But the goal was, I what I found is lots of people, especially that look like me, people of color, had difficulty getting a sheet of paper. It's a sheet of paper.
It is.
And I found that most of the available resources to help you get out to get this piece of paper didn't look like you. And I thought this test is unfair. It's
Hmm.
unfair. And I wanted to write that and wanted to make sure that this test does not equate you being a good therapist. And I wanted
Okay.
to change that. That's not okay.
Okay. And how long have you had this business?
So 2018 is when we released our first video, but we're
Mm-hmm.
actually 2015 is when we started.
Okay.
Really about starting very small. And if you go back to old videos, I would say we, but there was no we, it was just
Okay.
me. But I knew God had a plan that we would grow.
Okay. So you had to be everything in the business. Okay. How, when people think about business, they think about I just have to do this one thing. How many hours a day do you feel like you put into your business being the CEO?
You don't want to know. You
The
don't
people
want to
do.
know. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you that my therapist would say it's unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
My people around me would say it's unhealthy. I will say to you that I see an end. And again, this is not my first business. I started other businesses, but at this point in my life, my children are grown.
Okay.
I'm a widow, and I live with two dogs. So I have putting in 80, 90 hours a week is an option for me because I live by
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Okay.
When my kids were little, that was an option. But yeah, I put in 80 to 90 hours every week,
Mm-hmm.
every week for probably the last 10 years. I still teach college, but that will end shortly, but I don't think I'll put in less hours. It's
Okay.
not that I want to beat myself up. I just see the end goal. In order to get to the end goal, that means that right now I have to do what I want to do. I need multiple streams of income. I want everybody to be able to understand and get a piece of Dr. Pam.
Okay. When was that aha moment to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this very well. And when did you realize that you had something?
A lot of entrepreneurs would like to say that the bulb went on and you just got it. I'm going to tell you, when I decided to work for myself was I worked for a large tutoring company, and
Mm-hmm.
they were charging clients lots of money and paying me pennies on it. And then they would guarantee with the clients that if they didn't pass, they could come back and see me again.
Mm.
And then I thought, if this major company thinks I'm that good, then maybe I am that good.
Mm.
And as an entrepreneur, I knew from day one my gifting. I've always known that, and that's scary as all get out. As you're starting your own business, it's so scary. I cannot tell you. But trust that inner voice. Trust your inner voice, and follow what you're good at. Follow your passion. When it really became very clear is when I we kept raising our prices and people kept
Okay.
showing up.
Okay.
And that was when, like, wow, wow, wow. When we had we started with like 500 followers on YouTube, and then it went to like 1,000, and then a couple of thousand, and that's when it's like, wow, wow, I'm good at what I do. I'm good at
Okay.
what I do. But again, I don't ever take sole ownership. I realize that where my higher power has brought me and why I'm here.
Have you ever questioned what you were doing?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Who hasn't? Who hasn't?
Yeah.
The scariest thing is to, and I'm not going to say trust me, but trust the God in me.
Ooh.
That is the scariest thing ever. So, I'm very spiritual, and I was listening to sermons this week, and one of the sermons I was listening to was, when Jesus walked on the water,
Mm-hmm.
and he called out to
Peter.
I hope it was Peter. I think it was
Peter.
Peter.
It was
Okay,
Peter.
thank you. I thought it was Peter. And Jesus said, there's a storm going on, right? And everything is awful, and life is falling apart.
Uh-huh.
And he says, come to me, come to
Okay.
me. And when he kept his eyes on Jesus, he didn't
Right.
sink.
Right.
But when he doubted that, that is when he began to drown,
Right.
and Jesus saved him.
Saved him.
So I have learned to not lay my pearls before swine, to really, I don't share all of my stuff with everybody. because not everybody has my best interests.
Mhm.
But I know my calling. I know what I'm supposed to do. And as long as I keep my eyes on the prize, I keep my eyes on the Heavenly Father, it'll be okay.
It's
It'll
okay.
be okay. And entrepreneurs, especially in the world we live in now, everything's on social media, and everybody has an opinion on social media, what they think about you.
Right.
Uh, you got to have thick skin. You got to
Right.
have thick skin. You got to just learn to like, thanks for sharing. Appreciate that, but I'm good.
Let me ask you a question. What does Dr. Pam think of Dr. Pam?
Today, we're good.
We good?
We're good, but not always, not always.
All right.
Part of this journey is, and what I teach to my clients, and Quincy, I always talk about women because I don't get a lot of men. What I teach to women is you've got to learn that you're worth it. You've got to
Okay.
learn to put yourself first as women. And women in general, and women of color are not taught that. We're not taught that. What we're so many times unseen and unheard. So for
Okay.
Dr. Pam to show up in a room and to realize that when she opens her mouth, it matters, was a process, a whole process.
Okay.
I'll be 60 this year. I tell people I'm 10. I'm 10. I'm learning, but I
Let me.
definitely I know my space in the room. I know who I am. I know I'm good at what I do. I own that, and that was the process. The little girls, especially my age, we were taught that vanity was a sin,
Mm,
that you're supposed to be, girls were, women couldn't be part of the church, women were hidden and unseen, and my job was to be in the background, and that's how I lived a lot of my life. But at this point, that's not what God has for me. So
okay.
I've learned to own Dr. Pam, I've learned to love Dr. Pam, but it's been a process.
Okay. And it is a process because we on the process podcast with you to interview.
It's a
Um.
total process.
So yeah, I think men, black men, have the same issue knowing that they are enough. Cause I know I doubt myself a lot. I doubted myself when I took the test. I didn't think I was good enough. I knew I could do the work, but I doubt I could pass this test. And I did take your class for the 90 days, or it was over 90 days, and I was successful. I'm grateful for your class. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you challenging me on those questions because I got frustrated, and a lot of times I get out the call, I was mad. How dare she talk to me like that? You know. But I needed that. It was the motivation that kept me going. And then I get up in the morning, I put Dr. Pam on my YouTube and go for my 3 mile walk at 5 a.m. and I kept going and I was successful. So I want to let the world know and people on my show, because the world gonna see this, that Dr. Pam helped me pass my LPC exam, and I'm forever grateful for her. Also, yes, sir.
Can I say that? Did I hope I hope I never challenged your manhood. I hope I never challenged your belief in what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
What I wanted to challenge was your thought process.
Right.
And the way that we teach is we know that uh feelings, if we equate feelings to thoughts, that it's a lot easier to remember. We can all talk about what happened on 9/11, and we know what we were and what we were doing. So the way that we teach is based on the plasticity of how the brain grows
Brain
and
works.
changes.
Right.
So if you're ever in a session with me, and not the first session, I didn't do it on the first session, but the
No.
couple of sessions, I'm going to make you feel uncomfortable,
Right.
and it's purposeful. It's not trying to make you feel a certain way. It's trying to evoke a feeling, because
Right.
if I can evoke the feeling, you'll never forget that I said that. You'll never forget it. And when
You're
you're in the
right.
test, I want you to hear my voice. I want you to, oh, Dr. Pam called me out on this question. She told me whatever, but it's purposeful. It's purposeful. It's never trying to ever uh, uh, disrespect any of the people that I work with. I am the luckiest person in the world. Every week, every Saturday night, I am in a room with the most educated people ever. the
Yeah.
smartest people ever. And I'm aware of that. All of my clients have an IQ off the chain. And I know that because they don't know how to take a test.
Right.
They've gotten through life on their IQ points, and now they're just learning something different. So I really hope that I never made you feel less than.
No, you did not make me feel less than, but you made me study harder. You made me study a different way than I was studying the other times that I attempted to pass it, to take the test. So I don't feel any type of way about it. I appreciate it, and you will forever be in my in my thoughts. Okay, how to take this test and how to take a test and how I should think. So I appreciate that. Let's talk about your company. I like the diversity in it that you have. What makes you want to be so diverse and not just have it for Black America?
Um, because I so again in general, breaking into this field was hard. When I first started, and even today, there are not many tutors that look like me.
Hmm.
We study old white men. Let's face facts. Freud and even Maslow. Maslow's talk about the hierarchy of needs. He was still an upper middle class white man,
Right.
right? So yeah, there are very few therapists that coaches that look like me.
Hmm.
And I wanted to be inclusive because uh, unless you're an upper middle class white man, and I can't even pretend that I tutor people from Ivy League schools. I tutor people from Fordham and from I've had some Harvard students that I still tutor.
Hmm.
But that's not my traditional population. Most of my population are marginalized people, people that didn't come from uh, having that spoon in their mouth, right? So I want my staff to match the population. And when you come to tutor, I want you to feel like that you can choose tutors that match your sexual orientation, match your diversity, match your belief system. We know in therapy in general, we all like someone that looks like us or feels like us. And it's a purposeful plan that will be representative of everybody. Um, Very important to me. I think Quincy might have frozen in this interview.
What's the biggest thing you have to learn about business?
Wow, 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 wow. That a thousand things. I wish I could. I've been very blessed. One of my best friends has an MBA.
Okay.
And I have a board and people around me that are business owners, but one of my very, very best friends, and it's a very weird relationship. Her husband hated me for a very long time. She started off as my secretary,
Hmm.
and I kept encouraging her to go back to school and go back to school and go back to school. So we've been friends probably for 20 years.
Hmm.
Um, and her husband doesn't hate me anymore.
Okay.
But she owned a business, and simple things about making the budget. Most of
Oh.
us aren't taught that. We aren't taught how to do that. So I've really surrounded myself when people think that I don't know, that I don't know. And if you're an individual session with me or a group session, you ask me about payment or ask me about your schedule, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
I
don't know.
don't know that, and I don't want to know. I've hired very good people to do that because I want to do what I want to do. I want to just teach you. Now, I have to be honest with you. In the beginning, it was just me. It was just me. And it was awful. I lost money. I misscheduled people because I didn't know what I was doing.
Mm.
But definitely surround yourself with people that know what they're doing, that are experts in their field. You're not an expert in everything. You're not. And if you want your business to grow, you've got to realize what you're good at and what you're not good at.
Okay. So with that, um, I'm sure you ran across a lot of people who didn't have your best interest.
Yep,
How
absolutely.
how did you pivot from that?
Even to this day, I just separate business from friends.
Mm.
I Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. So, uh, you're touching some feelings there. Okay, so when you begin to really make money, the people, the curses, the play curses come out of the right, like it's like hitting the lotto. Oh,
Okay.
Dr. Can we post the money? Can we do this? So those, they come out of that. Uh, but it's a painful journey of learning who you can trust and who you can't trust. We, and I say this, I'll say this on this channel, and I say it everywhere. We're $500,000 company. In
Okay.
3 years, we're going to be $1 million company. In
Okay.
5 years, we're going to be $1 billion company.
Okay.
When
Because
I say that to people, not everybody supports that. Not everybody believes that. When I first started, some people said, "Oh, it's a fad. It'll go away. Don't own your own business." Blah blah blah. You have to just be very careful of who you share your business with. Keep your circle very small, very small.
okay, because when you have something that's your baby, you want to tell the world about it, but you can't tell the world about it.
You cannot. You cannot lay your pearls before swine. You cannot. We've got some really big deals coming up.
Okay.
We're gonna, I and my company, this is August. By December, we're releasing 4 books.
Okay. And again, for my audience, what test do you help people pass?
Anything mental health related. Okay, that what makes us unique. We're the only company that does this. And when you're starting your business, you have to have a blueprint. So we
Okay.
really modeled ourselves after Mathnasium. If you're not familiar with that, it is a company that just teaches math from elementary school, middle school, high school to college.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened is the people that started that, brick and mortar, they began to sell franchises. I know it because of my children that needed math help, because that is not my cup of tea. So
Okay.
our goal is to be like the McDonald's or the Mathnasium, that no
Okay.
matter where you go in the country, that there'll be a brick and mortar that you can go in and you can actually get tutoring for the mental health test. We teach we do AP psychology.
Okay.
Do you know that a lot of things that I teach about Freud for that the master's level are on AP psychology? We do drug and alcohol. We do marriage and family. We do all of anything mental health related. If you're trying to get your certification to be a behavioral analysis, we do that as well. So
Mm.
Freud is Freud, no matter where we teach it. And one of the things that makes us amazing, because we have access to all of the materials, we can bring in things that maybe you've never seen. See a question from a different viewpoint. But our goal definitely is to replicate ourselves, that no matter where you live in the United States, you can have an online experience, or in the future, you can actually have a face-to-face experience, and you'll
Brick and
get the
mortar.
same experience.
Okay, good. I like that. So you do have a 5 year plan because somebody told me on Saturday, Quincy, need a 5 year plan.
You do, you do, you do, you do. How do you know if you've succeeded if you don't have a plan?
True.
You just walk around aimlessly? How do you know? How do you know? And if we talk about, even in therapy, right, we talk about SMART goals:
Smart goals.
specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. And while that's a therapeutic plan, that's a life plan.
Okay.
How do I know if I've met my goals? If there's not, you're running a race, you do a 5K, right? You train, you train, you train. You've got all these plans, but the goal is you got to the 5K and you got to the finish line. If you don't have a plan, how do you know? How do you measure success? Remember, goals can change. We can push it back, but I at least have a direction of where I'm going. I tell anybody, and this is a very weird thing for me. My younger clients, and we talked, having a 5 year, 10 year, 15 year plan is not something younger generations are taught. And that's really, really important. So even before I started this business, I took a class on branding. if you see our background, right, you'll see our sign everywhere. And usually I'm wearing one of our company shirts. Whenever you see this look, you know it's us. The same way that you did. I see your background. I see the process. That's branding. So when
Yes,
I see that, I know what that means.
got you.
So
All right.
all of my listeners or your listeners, go ahead and save the domain. Build it and they will come. Build it. Have the website. Go ahead and own it because they will
Okay.
come.
Okay. So you did tell me you started this, but it was coming from trauma or tragedy or something happened, and this came about.
Um, you got 3 hours. I can share all of my trauma with you.
Not
I
all
can
of
share
it.
all of my trauma with you, but my mother died when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did that rock my own foundation, but it rocked my spiritual foundation. I grew up in a home that God will heal you and God will take care of you. As an adult, I know that healing looks differently. I know now that healing may happen on the other side. And again, I don't ever hide my spiritual beliefs. I don't ever pretend I'm who I am without my heavenly Father. I don't ever pretend that. But definitely growing up in a home, I really believed that God would heal my mother on this side.
Mm.
I was 16. I was 16. I was so lost. I was so lost. Doubted everything I'd ever been taught. Thank God I had a praying grandmother that took care of me
Mm.
because I was doing anything I was big and bad enough to do. I went to school in Miami. Every drug that came across, I'm like, oh, let me try that.
Let me try that.
Thank God I had a praying grandmother that protected me. Because I did. I was lost. I was so very lost. I thank God that uh yeah, he protected me. I wouldn't be here without my trauma. I wouldn't be here without my trauma. We can talk about being in a very bad marriage. I came home one day and he decided to move out without telling me. Um, trauma. I think that most people I have enough trauma to yeah, I could write 1,000 pages on my own trauma.
Okay.
I will tell you that one of the things in our family that we talk about is we talk about the 3 Hebrew boys, the story in the Bible.
Yes.
We don't smell like smoke.
Okay.
We went through trauma. We survived.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pretend like it didn't affect who we are, all of us, but
Right.
we don't smell like smoke. Unless I share my trauma with you, most people don't know.
Okay.
So we don't smell like smoke. But I am like everybody else. I'm a woman of color who wanted to be married and wanted to live happily ever after. Um, it didn't work out as I planned, but I
Okay.
still trusted God.
And you're still striving.
I am.
Okay. Um, maybe I thought about this interview a lot, and now you're right here, and I forgive my questions, but hey, we're gonna keep it rolling. Again, Dr.
I'm
Pam.
gonna be real. I'm gonna always be real. And not about people, other people outing me.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that I don't want people to see me as, oh my gosh, Dr. Pam's life has been easy. She woke up yesterday and this business is amazing. And I'm not gonna lie, we make lots of money. We make lots of money. I'm not gonna ever pretend that, but it didn't come easy. It
Okay.
didn't come easy, and that's what I want and people entrepreneurs to know. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. And yes, blood, sweat, and tears is what it takes. And I'm going to say to you, we had a conversation afterwards. Um, I think you really have to narrow your scope. I think you have to be very clear of what God wants you to do. And I don't expect you to believe in my God, whatever higher power you believe in,
I'm
but I
Jesus Christ.
definitely okay. Well, again, so all
Jesus
of my
Christ.
listeners and your listeners don't always follow my my belief system, and that's not my job to convert you. This is not my job in this arena. But I definitely think that you have to listen to that inner voice. You have to just really stop talking, stop, just listen, just listen. I wake up and in the morning I purposely turn on, gospel music or one of my favorite preachers. I'm a huge fan of TD Jakes. Um, and just listen. You guys, I'm not a reader. I'm not a reader. I got a Bible that reads to me, not gonna lie. Grew up on King James Version. I like the Passage version now. But just listen. And that is, I know we talked about mindfulness, I think in the past. Mindfulness, DBT says, just enjoy the moment.
The moment, yes.
Just enjoy the moment. And those moments are where I get those in the shower, in my car, when I'm just listening, and the silence. I hear him talk to me. I hear him talk to me. And I know that sounds strange if you're not a believer. I know that sounds strange. I can tell you, when I go to we have staff meetings every Monday morning, and I go to my staff and I said, this is what we're doing. And they're like, Dr. Pam, are you crazy? Are you crazy? What's wrong with you? And what's wrong with you? So there's so many moments that they question my sanity. Um, but I have to say, I'm the CEO, and this is what we're doing.
Cool. That's that was my question. What would you tell an entrepreneur or somebody who will want to start something? And it says go with your gut. Sometimes there's a lot of chatter in your head though.
There is, and
Sometimes.
you have to learn to disseminate what's good and what's bad.
Okay. All right. Well, Dr. Pam, I know you've been busy. You've been talking all day. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything that you have done for me and my family, which you got to meet my wife and
I
my two
did.
boys.
I did.
Um,
I want to give your wife props. Woo! I think behind every successful man, there's an amazing woman.
yeah,
So
she's
I'm
amazing.
going to just call that out all day, every day. I'm a feminist therapist, right? No, I'm not a feminist therapist, but I definitely believe that behind every man, there's an amazing woman. There really is. Men, and I want to share this with you, Quincy. I don't know if I shared it with you before. I am old fashioned as everything. I'm okay with the man being the head of my house. I know, and I know. I just haven't met someone that loves me like Christ loves the church.
Hmm.
But I truly believe that. I truly believe that. I believe that there's someone out there that has my best interest at heart,
Hmm.
and I will follow him. I will be submissive. I am so okay with that. And I know that doesn't sound anything like modern, Dr. Pam, you're educated, you make money, blah, blah, blah. Um, but I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. I don't want to make all the decisions. I want to trust that the man is in charge. And I know it sounds so old fashioned, and your listeners might think, oh, Dr. Pam. No, but that's true. That's my belief system. That's my belief system, that I trust God. I wasn't meant to run the house. I wasn't meant to do that. That wasn't how God made me. So
Right.
I'm going to give all props to your wife, because you definitely are the man of your house. You do what you're supposed to do, but I don't doubt that you have her best interest at heart, and
I
that's
do.
an
I do.
amazing man of God.
I do it. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing with my wife, my kids, and myself, but I keep pushing forward and try to put them ahead of everything else that I have
Yeah.
going on. So that is my um motivation. Like I was in the class with you, and my son was like, "Dad, you said you're gonna do that trampoline," and and it was getting late, and
It was. It was.
I
Yeah.
say, okay, all right, Dr. Pep, I'll get off this call, even though I need to study some more. But I had to spend that time with my sons, cause they're 8, and I just love them. They're my little homies, and
I thank you for letting me in your home, and letting me meet your boys and your wife. I really appreciate that. I'm sure they're so glad that we're done. They're probably so tired of hearing my voice.
No, we're
And
not
Dr.
done.
Pam. Oh, okay, we're not done. Okay,
We're
we're
not
past the
done.
test at least,
Yeah, we passed the
but
test.
definitely.
Uh,
But I admire you. I do. I think that and I know we want to wrap it up, but because this is gonna be on your podcast as well as my podcast. Do
mhm.
you want to share what you do so we can drive business to you as well?
Okay, what I do, I currently work for a mental health outpatient treatment center where I work with youth between the ages of 6 and 17, and I have a nonprofit.
What city do you live in?
I live in Houston, Texas, and
Okay. And I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So just so we're clear that
right,
Quincy and I have never met personally.
not yet,
But
not yet.
okay, I'm coming to you because ain't nothing doing Chattanooga, just so you
Okay,
know.
come on,
Okay.
I got you. I have a nonprofit. I just launched. I launched it doing one of Dr. Pam's classes. Lead with Love. It's a mentor program. I have a annual field day that's coming up, free for everybody. Nerf gun, kickball, barbecue, tacos, all type of stuff like that. I also lead. I host a men's
Can I
group.
stay with that for a minute? So test questions again. I always take it back to test questions. So when we're starting a program, when we're trying to do something, so you've got this great idea, but it had to be funded, right? I don't think you're writing any checks. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you were writing any checks. So we talk about on the test, we talk about programming and network and how important that is. So the way you're the reason you're able to do what you do is because of the networking, and you've got people in your circle that have volunteered, uh, given a sliding scale. So let's be honest. So if I want to run a nonprofit, how do I get people to give me their time and their business?
Networking. I talk to people. Like I said, I started this during COVID. I started the
Mhm.
podcast during COVID. I started my field day during COVID, and I have friends who believed in me, and they just gave me the money and said, "Q, I know you're gonna do right by those kids," and I did. And like I say, I'm coming up on my sixth one. Um, I I I realized my gift is I could bring people together. I don't know how to turn that into a business, but I could bring people into the together. Quincy Moldings for the people.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this in there. Okay, so did P Diddy. He was good about
He
so
was.
he
He
was
is.
good. He was really good about orchestrating events, right?
Yes.
So that's definitely a talent. It really, really is. Just don't be doing the P Diddy stuff, okay? I just
I'm not. But also, do Dr. Pam, I have a barbershop um a conversation every Tuesday here in Houston, Texas, where I have about 20 men come in, talk about healthy relationship, accountability, growth, reflection and growth, financial literacy. Each week we impacted this community with these men about how they could better themselves, and it has really grown. So that is
if I don't
powerful.
live in your city, can I join that?
I gotta figure this out. I
Okay.
can't.
Okay. So I'm still throw that out there. What you're doing is amazing. It's amazing. And you and I've had a conversation about the importance of Black men and mental health, and we know that people of color like to have someone that looks like them. And barbershops are known. If you've ever watched any of the movies about the importance of
Yes.
a barbershop, that's where you let your guard down.
Yes.
Again, I'm about enterprising and building businesses. It would really be great if I wasn't in that barber shop, that I could still have a way
Access.
to reach in. So if that barber shop was on a Zoom and on a live, that I could even type in and say, "Hey, I live across the country and I'm feeling the same feelings,"
Mm-hmm.
because what you're doing is amazing.
Yes.
And that one barbershop, it's great, but there's so many other men of
Right.
color that would see you and maybe share their thoughts and feelings they wouldn't share with me.
Got you. You're right. I'm figure that out. Just like this this I never did a virtual interview. And I knew I had to jump on this opportunity. I got my with my friends. He gave me a mic. I had the backdrop and a computer, and he said, "Go for it, Q. I got you." And even when we didn't record last time, he said, "Q, I believe in you. So you just keep the microphone and what I gave you until you finish your interview, and we just figured out later on." So I
So
figured out.
I'm going to say to you as we end this podcast, but we're going to learn how to monetize YouTube channels, and not just for the money, not just for the money. I don't ever believe you ever start a business for the money. Don't, please don't, any entrepreneur out there, don't go for the money. Don't, you will never be successful if you just go for the money. Go for the passion. Go for what you believe in, that you would do whether you got paid or not. Just go for what God has instilled in you. Go for it. The Bible says that the world will make room for your giftings. You walk out what you're supposed to do. Don't go for the money. Please, please. Anyone starting a business, if you're just doing it for the money, you're never going to succeed. Never. Go for what you would do for free, that you breathe it and you feel it and you really believe it, and go for that. So I would say to you, and all of your listeners starting a business, what you're doing in the barbershop sounds amazing. It does. I would just like it to see it on a world, at least the United States level, that I knew on Saturday morning or whenever you do it, that I could be in a room with other men and I could listen to what it feels like for men, because we know that's a population that's hurting, and they're not going to talk to me. They're not going to talk to me. I'm a woman. I'm going to always say, I can't raise a boy. I can't raise a man because I'm a woman. I'm the soft sex, right? I can't say, boy, you better man up, because that's I'm the mama.
Right.
Um, so definitely let's take what you do and make it on a business level, and again, not to make money, to share it to other people,
Yep.
and the money will come.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. So you want to close out when you're in?
I will say, if you're listening to the Dr. Pam podcast, I thank you for taking the time to tune in to another episode of Pass Your Exam with Dr. Pam. We definitely want you to pass your exam. We want you to be in Quincy's seat. I want to see you here where you're telling us how you passed your exam and what your future looks like. I will tell you though, when you're in Quincy's seat, I'm always going to ask you, what's your 5 year plan? What's your 5 year plan? Walk it out. And again, you may not believe in the God that I believe in, but no matter what you do, we talk about, write it out, make it plain. Every day, wake up with a purpose. How do I get to my 5 year plan? So thank you guys. Remember to subscribe and like to my channel. We'll also leave the information in the box to follow Quincy's channel, because he's going to be on YouTube and he's going to be sharing his information outside of his little barbershop to all the barbershops in America, because that's what he's good at. And he's
Yes.
going to walk out his plan. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Can I ask you one question for my channel, at least? So, for people who are struggling to take the test, who've taken it 2, 3, 7, 12, 15 times, any advice that you can give them?
You have to put everything else to aside for 90 days, and you have to lock in with studying. Figure out how you study and a certain time that you're good with studying. For me, I found out it was 5 a.m. in the morning on a walk with my headphones on and listening to Dr. Pam 3 times a day. Um, it I thought about it so much. I wanted to ask Dr. Pam, do she dream about these questions as I was dreaming about the questions or the information? Because it was stuck in my mind. And so when I took the test and I saw the answers in the question, I knew I had it. I have never been so sure about a test than July 29th, 2025 in my life. And I failed the test 3 times before, but on the fourth time, I knew it. I had it. So that's my best advice. Figure out how you study and what time is you retain the most information.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to another episode of Pass Your Exam with Dr. Pam. Remember to like and subscribe. Also, we'll link Quincy's channel and Quincy to answer. I do. I think about this test 24/7. I know it's sad. It's so sad. But I'll be in the shower and I'll think, oh, let me try this one to teach. Or I'll go back and I'll do some research on how I can teach. It is truly my purpose in life. I know my purpose. When I was younger, my purpose was to raise my children. I did what God wanted me to do. And now my purpose is to leave a legacy. That's Erickson, right?
Dr. Pam, how many people have you helped pass this test?
At our last count, we can measure. And again, so what we know is only if you tell us. On our YouTube channel, if you're watching and you don't tell us, we don't know. But our best guesstimate is about 60,000.
Wow, that's a ministry.
It is. Yes, it is. Thank you, God.
Congratulations.
Okay, listeners, thank you again. I hope I see you in this chair. I hope that I see you soon. And remember to subscribe with us. If you're struggling with the test, schedule from individual sessions with us. You are worth the time. You're worth the investment. Pass this test. Take it just one more time with us.